Welcome back everybody to Automotive Inc. Today we're doing a video on a question that a watcher had, and it's talking about bang for buck when it comes to the new diesels that are on the market, and do they really need it? Well, if you guys have been paying attention on the channel, over the last few years we ran the first version of the 7.3 Godzilla, the second Loki, and of course Kong, the 6.6. We have now ran a 6.4 Hemi because most of those trucks are not built with enough payload and or towing ability, and you can get one, but it's pretty hard to find, and it's real close on the cusp of not even being there. Well, both the Ford and the GM products give you massive payload and massive towing numbers for a gas engine. Before we get started though, smash subscribe, helps a small channel out. Thumbs up and notification bell. And guys, with everything going on in the world over the last few weeks, let's just pray for the country and I hope for the best, and just let's look out for each other out there. All right, so as you can see right here, we're in front of Optimus. This is the 2025 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Now, one thing you got to understand, guys, is the new gas engines, I think if you're under 20, for the Ford gas, you can actually get all the way up in the 20s with that. I think those engines can get the job done just fine. Now, are they going to have a diesel exhaust brake? No. Are they going to have that? Well, keep in mind, early generations of diesels, all the way up to like 2011, that Ram had the first one, and then Ford came out a little bit later, GM had a later one, but earlier diesels that are still out there didn't even have that. So if you take that aside, yes, that is a perk, but we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of which one is the best bang for buck and why you might want to choose it. Now, again, the gas engine options are basically a free option, if you will. And again, I think if you're going 6.8, 7.3, 6.6, or 6.4, and you're staying under 14,000, diesel doesn't make a lot of sense for most people, especially if it hits your payload numbers and your towing numbers. And you don't want to mess with DEF and DPFs and diesel emissions. We have diesel emissions here. So there's a lot of nuances to owning a diesel. More maintenance, more everything. Fuel filters you got to change often, so on and so forth. I usually get a handful of people come in and say, well, it's not really that much more. It is more. And if you're budget conscious and that is important to you, then that is an extra expense you may not need to take on. But there are still the people that say, no way, no gas for me, I have to have a diesel. Well, we decided to go diesel for 2025 on the channel. Reason being is because if you've watched the Gale Banks video of him breaking down the L5P Gen 2, so many nuances that have changed, that have made this engine substantially better over its predecessor, but maybe one of the best versions of the Duramax. Now, I know there's people going to argue LBC, LML, LMM, whichever one's your favorite. I'm just saying that they're constantly striving, improving, trying to make this better. So when it comes down to it, GM did something different. The design of their pistons, designs, everything. You got to go over and watch Gale Banks. I love that cat. He is super knowledgeable. And the biggest thing for me to detract from diesels over the last handful of years was the emissions stuff, right? Because that stuff's going to wear out. It's going to need cleaning. It's going to need replacement versus, say, just a regular exhaust system, right? And the engines have to do a lot more. And unfortunately, right now, diesels is more, again, than gas. Of course, as soon as I go back to diesel, diesel's more than gas. Before, diesel's a little bit cheaper. So we have to talk about all those things. We'll save a lot of the other stuff for the other videos where we talk about all the fuel economy and everything, but we're just going to talk about best bang for buck when it comes to diesel engines. So for 2025, guys, the Gen 2 L5P came in at a whopping sticker price of $94.90, coming in at 470 horsepower and 975 foot-pounds of torque. Now for 2026, all manufacturers are raising their prices across the board. The diesel engine for the GM will come in about $99.90 now. That is a $500 bonus. So when you're talking about, is this going to equate to over time, I would ask you to forecast your needs, your towing needs, because it's easier to spend the money now on a diesel if you think that is the case versus having to trade in the vehicle later and potentially take a hit on that for your the value of it decreasing. So because that's what cars do, right? So then we go in and we talk about the Ford. All right, so we're not looking at the Ford, of course, but we're talking about bang for buck. So this year, 2026, Ford's base engine with 475 horsepower and 1050 torque, that is the standard output Powerstroke, is going to come in at $10,995. Okay, guys, that is $1,000 more than the GM counterpart. And we're not even getting into the HO sustenance of it, where the HO does have more horsepower, 500 and 1,200 pounds torque. coming in at $13,495, guys. That is a lot of extra dough for that extra torque and that. Now I'm telling you, the base Powerstroke is no slouch. Now if you're just in a commercial setting and you're going to be pulling those massive numbers, which kind of blows my mind when people are trying to pull 30,000 plus with a vehicle with just standard disc brakes, you know, I know that they're built well enough, but that seems like we're on the cusps of why not just get like an M2 Freightliner or something like that. But that is a lot more dough. And if you guys know, for 2025, Ram has dropped their standard output Cummins, leaving only their HO coming in at $12,595. Now, it only has 430 horse, but it does beat the GM counterpart at 1075, and it does beat the Powerstroke standard output in torque by a little bit, but not as big in horsepower. And it's going to be backed by that ZF 8-speed. I've driven it. I think it's a little bit just as clunky as the Asen was. In my experience, I felt really like I didn't have a problem with the 68 RFE or that. But with the Ford, you get the 10-speed torque shift, and with the GM, you get the Allison transmission. I know we'll probably get our comments on this video, as we always do, talking about that. Now, keeping in mind the ZF transmission coming with the Ram, it's going to be fairly new to Ram, probably not new necessarily from the ZF lineup. People say that they've seen that transmission and everything from motorhomes and everything, but I worked around motorhomes and a shop and buses for years, and I currently drive bus. All of them are backed by an Allison, so I'm not for sure where people got that information, that they're in everything else. I'm sure they're in a lot of things, but more widely used is the Allison transmission, whether it be the 6-speed or 10-speed or whatever speeds they want to jam in that one. The Torque Shift 10 from Ford has been a good transmission as far as I'm concerned. It does have some clunkiness, does have some lurching. Now we come back to my new 10-speed on 2025 Optimus. Now that transmission has had a few hard shifts. It's very random, just like all the other transmissions. Do I think it's the issue with the valve body? I highly doubt it. I think that most of those were on stop sale, why they kind of figured out the remedy to either download software or whatever, and then of course the Band-Aid fix. There's a design flaw hypothetically in the 24 and under valve bodies, so you take what you can. Now when it comes though to bang to buck, I'm telling you, whether you have 430 horsepower, 500 horsepower, 470, torque's really what gets you moving. And going from diesels that used to have like 300, 400 pounds of torque to almost 1,000 on all the big three, you really can't go wrong when it comes to overall, power. I mean, these things are insane and disgusting on how much they can actually tow, especially have even a 3/4 ton versus a 1 ton. So I look at it like this. GM is still coming in the cheapest, model for model across the board with the diesel engine, because you go into any one of them and they have a little bit of nuances when you get the truck. This trim has maybe one thing you like more and it might be a smidge more. They're all very similar in their base price, trim for trim. Okay, now some manufacturers will give you more in those trims, but when it comes to adding your engine, the 6.8 is your standard option for gas. When it comes to the Ford, your 6.6 is the only gas option when it comes to the GM products, and the 6.4 Hemi is the only one from Ram. So you really have then one other option, which is the 7.3 Godzilla, which is an up trim charge on most of those models and standard on some of the super high-end models, but it is going to be an up trim. So if we just look bang for buck, because in my experience with Rams, you're not going to get disparagingly better fuel economy. I think that I'm okay with the fuel economy on the Duramax. So when it comes down to just buying the diesel engine, guys, how could you go wrong being 1,000 under the Ford and being very close to horsepower and torque? I mean, you're 5 horsepower under the standard output Powerstroke, and you're right there when it comes to torque. I mean, you're not even really off, but maybe not even 100 pounds of torque. And when it comes to the Ram, of course, their engine price is the only option, so you don't even get a standard output like the Ford. So, I mean, if you're going to buy diesel, I would have to say it's the GM products, whether it's 25 or 26. I would have to say then it comes into the Ford to get the diesel, because they offer a $10,995 option. And then Ram being the last because they only have the one option. Now, again, it comes down to what you like, and I suggest that you go out and drive all three. You're going to find that all three drive very, very differently. Ram has the best exhaust brake, but the Gen 2 L5P is substantially better. Again, watch that Gale Banks video on that. And if you need more horsepower, you can do that. Just keep in mind, when you start tweaking them, you can run into some other problems. So again, I still stand by the belief that at the end of the day, a gas option is the most optimal option for, I would say, 75% of truck needed people for towing in their everyday use. Heck, most half tons now do as much or more than vehicles of old. And then when it comes down to budgetary reasons, if you can stand the GM looks, feel, seats, you're going to get a bigger crew cab with that over the Ram. Ford's crew is the biggest in my opinion, has the most storage, but then again, it is more money. It's $1,000 more options. Now, I have heard people say that fuel economy is way better in the Powerstroke and way better. The Powerstroke is the best of the three, if you will. And I would say that so far that's pretty good. Now, at the end of the day, I want you guys to think about one other thing other than this initial cost of this diesel engine. Because a lot of people will say, well, I'll recoup this in fuel cost. Guys, it's going to take about 150 to 200,000 miles before you really recoup it, unless you're doing double what any other diesel's doing. I've seen basically on this truck, the best was 21. My wife got that cruising on 65 miles per hour highway. I average in town about 17 versus the gas from the Chevy, and the gas from that, they were about 2-3 miles per gallon under that in town. Of course, towing, this runs right around 11.5, which the Godzilla was around 8-9, and I think the Chevy was right around there too. I have those MPGs and towing videos on the channel, so you can go check that. And in my last truck, it was a 1-ton dually, so hard to compare fuel economy, but I would say I averaged around 14 towing. But keeping in mind that was a 16, and Cummins and Ram are in a world of heat for putting the bypass software in there to bypass the emissions. So that's why I think that truck did regens really well, and you hardly ever notice it. And I think too, when it comes down to the Duramax, not only is it better in price, but I can honestly say that over the 3,500 miles that I used to tow, it tapered off on its use of def. It ran really good, had no problems with regens. And over the last like 1,200 miles, it's been just my normal driving. We haven't been towing very much. It's commuting short distances to the gym, remote starting, so idling time. And like Gail Banks had said, this design has become more efficient, meaning there's less to go through the exhaust system and the EGR. And I've had zero issues with regens or def usage, and it's ran really phenomenal. And again, being the cheapest option, it tows like a monster. So whether you get with a 35 or a 2500, I have to say that I'm very, very pleased with how the Gen 2 L5P is done, especially over my 21 Gen 1 L5P. It's a night-and-day difference when it comes to exhaust brake. Fuel economy is way better. I mean, talking a couple more miles a gallon. And the ability to look at it with this, you know, the turbo and everything. And everything has just so been redesigned in this Gen 2 that I'm very, very happy with it. So if I was going for one right now and I had to have a diesel, it would be a GM diesel, just based on how my experience has been and the overall starting cost of the truck. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys being here. Tons of content coming up. Again, guys, be good to each other out there, and just be really careful. As always, guys, catch you on the next one.